There are moments in the world of drama that go beyond the screen, moments so real, so deeply emotional, that they leave fans speechless. This is one of them. Menglong and Xing Fei's final goodbye wasn't just a scene from a series. It was a moment that made time stand still. Before you scroll, pause for a second, because what you are about to discover will change the way you see both of them forever. Watch until the end, and let yourself feel every heartbeat, every silence, and every word that was left unsaid. The day started like any other filming day. The set was bright, the crew was busy, and the air was filled with quiet anticipation. But something felt different. Even before the cameras rolled, those close to Menglong and Xing Fei noticed the strange stillness between them. They were both smiling, but their smiles held weight, like they were holding something back. No one knew that this would be the last time they would stand across from each other as co-stars. When the director called for the final take, the entire crew fell silent. The script said it was a farewell scene, but what unfolded went far beyond acting. Menglong looked at Xing Fei, his eyes trembling with something raw and unspoken. She looked back, holding his gaze as if trying to memorize every detail of his face. The world around them seemed to disappear. Every emotion they had shared, every moment of laughter and every fight, came rushing back in that one look. The camera captured it all. But what the lens couldn't show was the weight of the emotions building up behind the scenes. The quiet breaths between their words. The tiny quiver in Xing Fei's lips as she fought to stay composed. The way Menglong's hands clenched as if he wanted to reach out but couldn't. It wasn't just a goodbye in a script. It was a farewell that neither of them seemed ready for. When the director finally shouted cut, there was silence. No one moved. Even the crew, usually quick to break into chatter, stood frozen. Menglong's eyes glistened as he turned away slightly, hiding the emotion that was too real to be seen. Xing Fei, on the other hand, stood still, tears quietly gathering in her eyes. Then, without warning, she stepped forward and hugged him. It wasn't rehearsed. It wasn't planned. It was real. The embrace lasted longer than anyone expected. It was the kind of hug that carries years of memories, unspoken gratitude, and the pain of knowing it might be the last. For a moment, everything else faded, the lights, the cameras, the noise, until it was just the two of them, holding on to something neither wanted to let go of. The crew members later said it felt like watching two souls say goodbye. After that scene, something changed. Menglong left the set quietly, avoiding interviews. Xing Fei stayed back, sitting alone on the empty stage. Witnesses said she didn't speak for a long time. She just stared at the spot where he had stood moments before, lost in thought. Some said she whispered something softly, almost like a promise to herself, but no one could hear what it was. Later that night, behind the closed doors of her dressing room, Xing Fei finally allowed herself to cry. The walls that had held her strong through countless scripts couldn't contain the emotions any longer. It wasn't just about a project ending. It was about closing a chapter that had defined a part of her life. Menglong, on the other hand, was seen sitting by himself at a quiet cafe, his usual calm demeanor replaced by a heavy silence. He didn't touch his drink. He simply stared out the window as if waiting for something he knew wouldn't come. Those close to him said he kept checking his phone, perhaps hoping for a message that would never arrive. Days later, fans began to notice small signs that hinted at their lingering connection. A song Xing Fei posted on her social page carried the same lines from a poem Menglong once quoted during an interview. A behind-the-scenes photo appeared online showing the two of them laughing together one last time before the goodbye scene. The internet went wild, with fans creating countless theories about what really happened between them. But beneath all the online noise, there was something pure about their story. It wasn't about scandal or secrets. It was about two people who built something beautiful, something that touched millions, and then had to let it go. It reminded everyone that even in a world built on scripted lines and camera angles, the most powerful moments are the ones that come from the heart. When the final episode aired, fans across the world couldn't hold back their tears. Comments flooded the internet, people saying how they could feel the pain in their eyes, how the goodbye felt too real to be fiction. Some even said it was like watching the end of a love story that was never meant to be, one that lived between takes and was hidden behind professionalism. But maybe that is the beauty of it. Sometimes the most unforgettable connections are not the ones that are announced or explained. They are the ones felt in silence, carried quietly long after the camera stopped rolling. Menglong and Xing Fei gave the world a story that didn't need confirmation to be real. Their final goodbye wasn't just a scene. It was a reminder that even the strongest bonds can be separated by time and circumstance, but the emotions remain eternal. And as fans continue to revisit that moment, one truth becomes clear. What they shared on-screen and off-screen will never be forgotten. It wasn't just a performance. It was a chapter of genuine connection, written in glances, silence, and one final embrace that will forever stay in the hearts of those who watched it unfold. So if you've ever loved, lost, or said goodbye, this story isn't just about them. It's about you too. Stay till the end of this video, because what you're about to see will remind you that real emotions never fade. They simply live on in moments like this one. The cameras had already stopped rolling, but the silence that followed carried more weight than any line spoken. Everyone on set could feel it, something deeper was unfolding, something that went beyond fiction. The director lowered his hand slowly, signaling the end of the take, yet neither Menglong nor Xing Fei moved. They stood there, frozen, eyes locked in a gaze that carried years of memories, laughter, arguments, and the quiet kind of affection that never needed words. It was supposed to be their last scene together, the ending of a beautiful on-screen journey that had captivated millions. But in that silence, it became so much more. The wind blew softly through the set lights, the distant sound of crew members packing up faded, and for a moment, the world around them disappeared. Xing Fei's lips trembled as she whispered something no microphone caught, a line meant only for him. Menglong's eyes glistened, not from acting, but from something real, something raw. The crew stood in awe, unsure whether to applaud or remain silent. It was no longer about performance, it was a farewell between two souls who had shared something irreplaceable. Xing Fei turned slowly, trying to walk away, but her steps faltered. She stopped midway, as though pulled back by invisible strings of memories, their first day on set, their late-night rehearsals, their laughter after every missed cue. Every single moment replayed in her mind, crashing together in waves that hurt to remember. Menglong called out softly, just once, her name barely a whisper. She froze again, turning her head slightly, not with the grace of an actress but with the weight of a woman saying goodbye to a chapter she didn't want to close. His eyes held gratitude, apology, and love, the kind that stays even when words fail. Xing Fei smiled faintly, a fragile kind of smile, the kind that hides the ache underneath. Then she nodded, slowly, like two people silently agreeing to let go. The director finally broke the silence. "That's a wrap," he said, his voice cracking slightly. The set erupted in quiet applause, but no one dared to speak loudly. They knew they had just witnessed something genuine, a moment that blurred the lines between story and reality. Menglong walked off first, heading toward his dressing room, his steps heavy, each one echoing like a quiet goodbye. Xing Fei remained still, staring at the empty space he left behind. It was as if part of her stayed there too. Later that evening, the behind-the-scenes footage leaked online. Fans from all over the world began dissecting every second, the way she looked at him, the way his hand almost reached for hers, the tears she tried to hide before turning away. Hashtags exploded overnight, and fans filled the internet with emotional tributes. Clips of that final look became viral within hours, and captions like "their goodbye was too real" began trending across all platforms. But the most emotional part came days later. During a press interview, when asked about that final scene, Xing Fei's voice quivered. She smiled softly and said, "Sometimes, goodbyes don't happen when the cameras stop. Sometimes, they happen long after, in your heart." Menglong, interviewed separately, was asked the same question. His response was quiet, reflective. "I didn't act that day," he said simply. "I just said goodbye." Fans broke down online. Comment sections flooded with messages like it felt real, they didn't just act, they lived that moment, and this goodbye will stay with us forever. Even seasoned directors and actors commented, calling it one of the most genuine performances in modern C-drama history. But perhaps the most powerful moment came weeks later when the official C-drama account released a behind-the-scenes montage of their journey together, from their first script reading to the final goodbye. The video ended with a simple message on the screen: some stories never end. They just live on in the hearts of those who felt them. As the music faded, one final clip showed Menglong standing by the empty set, looking out at the horizon as the sun dipped below the lights. In a faint whisper, almost inaudible, he said, "Thank you, Xing Fei." It was the closure fans never knew they needed. And just like that, a fictional farewell became something immortal. A story that started as a scene ended as an emotion, one that would echo in the hearts of millions for years to come. So as you sit here watching this, remember, some goodbyes aren't endings, they're beginnings in disguise. Broken heart, if this story moved you, don't forget to subscribe for more deep emotional C-drama stories, unseen truths, and unforgettable moments that touch the soul. Your support keeps these stories alive, stories of love, loss, and the beautiful pain of goodbye.